My bad. The microphone was over here muted. I think you understand why I had to do that. I was not about to let this setup go to waste. I got the ring light. Like, I was not about to do this on my phone. We have evolved. I used to do live streams all the time. I used to be on my phone. You know, I used to be in my living room in fucking Arkansas, and I would be on the floor, and I had a what's that? You know when you go to college and you have those storage bins where you just store clothes and crap in there? I had one of those, and I had this old laptop, and I had it on the bin, and I would have the laptop with my information, and I had like an iPhone X, and you know the iPhone X was like so tiny, and I had it up there, and I would be like, okay guys, we're gonna learn about the houses and the signs and blah 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 blah. But no, that was great. That was a great time. We've evolved. We're using the camera. So yes, how do I sound? Do I sound good? Do I need to turn the microphone up? Do I need to bring it closer? Just tell me what I got to do. Thank you for the compliments. It's me trying to look at the camera, then watch myself so I can see how I look. Okay, great. Oh my God, I hope the people who are late get the memo. They're gonna be like, what the fuck? I'm so sorry. But it's okay. Trial and error. I'm going to have it right next time. Okay. And I have my water, my pink Starbucks cup. My pink lip gloss for reapplication later. This is the best lip gloss ever. So moisturizing, so colorful. It's Soft Blush, the makeup by Mario. He knew what he was doing. He really did. On my influencer shit. On my influencer shit. Okay, who's ready? Are you guys ready? Do we want to start? Do we have anything to say? What y'all trying to do? Like, just let me know. Just let me know. Ready, let's go. I'm getting the readies. Okay, so first of all, my name is Jade. Some call me Dr. Jade. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to have you. This is Dr. Jade's Love Seminar. Yay, the Love Seminar. I love love. Love is me. I am love. Your love just for being here. It's all love right now. That's why I'm wearing my pink. I'm feeling like love. Love means so much to me. As a Libra rising, it's something I've loved since I was a little girl. Oh my God, I remember being a little girl, and I remember when kissing scenes would come on, and I would just be like, yeah, that's exactly what you guys should be doing. That's exactly what I want to see. Put some more of that on the screen. I had to be like 6, and I was like, yes, that's the one. This is what I like. So I've always just loved kissing and love and romance. Typical Libra shit, but you know, it's just how we move. Okay, so this is for the generators and the mani-gens. If you are here right now and you are not a generator or mani-gen, that's totally fine. Happy to have you. Would love for you to stay and learn. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, so Love Seminar. The first thing that you guys need to know about love in human design as a generator, as a manifesting generator is, I got it on my notes. Look, I got my notes right here. So if I'm looking down, reading at my notes, just let me do that, okay? It says, I wrote down, correctness does not mean perfection or a fairy tale ending. Correctness means that you are going to have a correct experience. Let me say that again. Correctness does not mean perfection. Correctness does not mean a fairy tale ending. Do not expect that. Do not think that just because, oh my God, Jade taught me my human design, my life is going to be perfect. I'll never make a mistake. Everything's going to be perfect. Or, oh my God, I went to Dr. Jade's Love Seminar and I got her Build Your Romance package for the G's and the MGs. And this is my new man. This is my new boo. And it's going to be perfect. And it's going to be a fairy tale because I use my human design. Pause. Let's slow down because it doesn't mean that it can't be that. Some of you will have that. Some of you are going to get a fairy tale ending. You might not get it at 24. You know, you might be 30. But some of you are going to get that. Others, you're going to have a little bit more trial and error. I don't know what you're going to have individually. But what I'm telling you is to not expect perfection, to not expect a fairy tale. This is not about perfection. No one can be perfect. It doesn't matter how much you know. Perfect things do not exist on the material plane. What does material mean? It means things that are tangible. You can touch it. You can feel it. You can smell it. That's material. You can see it with your eyes. That's the material, okay? And perfection does not exist on the material plane. It just doesn't. If you can bring me perfection and show it to me and say, well, Jade, it does exist. You're wrong, bitch. Then I'll be like, okay, great. And I'll be so happy because I want some of that too. But for right now, it doesn't. So don't expect that. So what does correctness mean? In human design, as you go about your human design research and as you're learning more, you'll see the word correct a lot, and it'll be saying, getting what's correct for you, making a correct decision. And it's like, what does that mean, right? So correct means what's ideal for you to have the right experience for your unique life. What's ideal for you to have the right experience for your unique life. Every single one of us is meant to have a unique life. I kid you not, I'm living my unique life. I can't stress it enough. What the fuck happened? Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me! Okay, there it is. I got it. I got it. Okay. More technical difficulties. I hope nobody saw me fall, because I did trip and fall. Thankfully, YouTube lets you, they let you edit the stream right after, so I can edit all this out. Nobody saw me fall, right? Okay, good. Nobody saw that. Whew. It was a bad fall, too, because I'm wearing heels, and I'm wearing these really cool jeans, and I tripped over them. Oh, my God. I had to just shake that shit off. Is it paused? Why is it paused? What the hell? Oh my God, my battery. This battery was charged. Okay, you know what? It's cool. Don't worry about it. Can anybody hear me? I wonder if anybody can hear me. I will change the battery because I do have a spare. No worries. I don't know if anyone can hear me, but let me change the battery. And the tripod just fell and broke. Jesus Christ. I'm not even gonna trip about it. I'm not even gonna trip about it. Whoa. Let me come back in real cool. Real cool. The tripod is broken. We're going to keep moving. Let me take a sip of my water. Somebody said, well, how is everyone doing? Okay, we move. I was on a roll too. It's okay because we know about the upper limit problem, and it's not going to get me because I already know about this. Yeah, I'm a little, I don't know if y'all can tell. Nobody will probably notice if I don't point this out, but like originally I had the camera set up to where there was a little bit more space above my head and there was less desk. It looks a lot better that way, but because the tripod is broken, I had to angle it as best I could. So now there's not a lot of space above my head and there's more desk. So it's not the way I envision. And you see all of the microphone, but we move. We move. Let me reapply my gloss. This shit got me fucked up. Period. The camera's out of focus. Is it? Oh yeah, it is out of focus. Okay, what about now? On the replay, like I said, I should be able to edit this. Oh yeah, I think it looks a lot better now. You're right. You're right. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Okay, I took the pillow from underneath me too, so now I should be a little bit shorter. Yep, perfect. Now there's a little bit more space above my head. Okay, so let's get back to it. Right before the camera died, I saw somebody say, they said, you're right, correctness isn't perfection. Yes, that's where we were. Correctness isn't perfection. Human design is not about perfection. So what I was saying before that happened, I remember what I was saying. I was saying that everybody is meant to have a very unique life and that I'm living my unique life right now. And right before the camera cut, I was going to say, oh my God, when I first became an astrologer, Black astrologers were few and far between. Black women astrologers were even extra few and far between. And even if there were Black women who were into astrology, horoscopes, and zodiac and tarot, they weren't astrologers. It wasn't serious. It wasn't for real. And that's okay. I'm just making the point that I was in a very unique situation. You know what I'm saying? And that unique situation has blossomed into something even more unique. There's very few Black women doing astrology and human design. There's very few women doing it as their full-time career. There's very few women taking it very seriously. And it's not just about the uniqueness of the work for me. It's that I've lived a truly unique life. And I'll get into that, like how I met my girlfriend, how I've met the current friends in my life, the experiences I've had, where I live. Very, very unique. And all very correct and satisfying for me, the majority of it. When I was in my design, it was satisfying. So that's what human design is about. Human design, okay. Human design is about making correct decisions so that you can get your correct life, the life that is correct for you, the one that's gonna make you satisfied. Because most of y'all are generators and mani-gens, right? Right? And we know that for the generator and the mani-gen, what's most important to us is that at the end of an action, at the end of anything, we need to be satisfied. It is crucial. Satisfaction is how we know we're on the right track to making a good decision, to getting in a good position. Satisfaction is our green flag. It's our green flag indicator. Right. Okay. So that's what you're doing here. So all your relationships, remember, this is a love seminar. All your relationships, when they are correct, they are going to add to the satisfaction to your life in one way or another. But what they're going to do is that they're going to give you a correct experience. A correct experience, right? Like I said, not perfection all the time, not a fairy tale all the time, but a correct experience. experience. That's what's going to happen. So it doesn't matter if it starts out good and somehow the other person does some bullshit and it ends horribly, because you can't control their decisions, right? At the end of it all, you had a correct experience that was necessary to move you forward on your life, because you're going to have a unique life, right? All of us are meant to have very unique lives. And the experiences you have that are correct for you are adding to that uniqueness, are giving you what you need to constantly contribute to that uniqueness, you know? And I'll tell you one thing, guys, that doesn't mean that if you mess up and you go against your body and you end up in some bullshit, that doesn't mean that, oh my God, this is gonna, kill me or I'll go to hell. Well, if you go too far, it could kill you. And it will take you too far away from your unique life if you do it too much. But having a mistake, being an imperfect person, which we all are, that still adds to your experience. You're still getting an experience. May not be a correct experience, but it's still an experience. And let me tell you, just because something is incorrect meaning you went against your design, you went against your authority. That's what that means. Just because that happens, that doesn't mean that immediately after it's over, that doesn't mean that it's impossible for you to pivot. That doesn't mean it's impossible for you to pivot. There's always a pivot. There's always a pivot. There's always a pivot. All the MGs in here, I know y'all know about a pivot. MGs love to pivot. They know how to pivot. When the going gets tough, shit ain't working, it's time to move. Woo! MGs gonna take it there. Every time. Us plain gens, we a little bit slower to that. But them MGs, every time. Okay? Also, so sorry to the people who are just now coming in, finding this new link. We had technical difficulties. I'm very sorry. Somebody said they called off their wedding. Ooh, when? Girl. But that's some good shit, though. You have to do what was best for you. Okay, so the next thing. A correct relationship doesn't mean the person is perfect or doesn't have their own problems or things that they go through, right? Having a correct relationship doesn't mean your person is perfect. We already went over how the relationship's not going to be perfect and how you're not going to be perfect. The person isn't going to be perfect either. You can't control them. You don't know what decisions they're going to make against their body or with their body. And you know what? They could make every decision with their body and you could still end up in an imperfect situation, because guess what? It's all an experience. It's all just an experience. And that's some crazy shit to think about. It's just an experience. Fuck. We don't truly own anything. We don't truly have control over anything. We are energetic consciousnesses inhabiting these bodies for a certain period of time to have an experience. I don't know why, but that's just what's happening, you know? Somebody said, is an MG pivot similar to a generator plateau? No, pivots are very active. Pivots are active. Pivots are when you turn on a dime, you know? Something's not working, you gotta whoop, go back, pivot, you know? As opposed to. So anyway, again, and then having a correct relationship is having that correct person in your life for that time. That time period is what's very important, right? Whatever time period you're in your life, and when you get into a correct relationship, that person is also correct for that time period. Sometimes you might be like, well, how come I wasn't able to get with this celebrity when I was 20 and I was using my human design and that's what I really wanted? That may not have been correct for you at that time. You also get the correct person for that time in your life. And then as the world changes, as you change and things grow and evolve, sometimes that's where it happens, where two people might have to go their separate ways because the time is over. And it's not that the person is, they're just so incorrect. But the time period has passed, you know? Ooh, this is a good one. These are some good notes. I wrote down some good notes. Let me read them. A relationship is still just an experience, like I said. It is not, listen closely, a relationship is an experience, but what it is not is, it's not identity, it is not purpose, or the end. It's not the end all be all for the experience of your life. Say it with me again. A relationship is not identity. It is not purpose. It is not the end. Not the end all be all experience for your life. Gotta feel me on that one, okay? Some of y'all need to feel me on that identity part, all the Libra suns in here. The sun ruling identity, Libra ruling relationships. I clocked your T, okay? Libra suns especially. I wrote down another good note. A relationship cannot be purpose because, let me tell you why a relationship cannot be purpose. It doesn't mean that your purpose can't or won't involve a relationship. Does it mean that the relationship cannot be a strong contributing factor to your purpose? However, what it does mean, why it cannot be your purpose, is because your purpose will always exist independently. Say it with me now. Libran placements don't like the word independent. We like codependent. We don't like independent shit. Your purpose cannot exist independently of your purpose will always exist independently of a specific person, place, or subject. Everyone's unique purpose is always going to be independent, individual of any other person, any other place, or any topic or subject or concept. All of us, our purpose is independent of that. It can survive without a particular place. It can survive without a particular person. It can survive outside of any boxed concept you might try to put it in. You know what I'm saying? How do we feel? Let me check the comments. Yeah, codependency is our motto. We love a little codependency. Okay, I love it. It's cute. Just kidding, it's not cute. But sometimes it is. I'm just a Libra girl, okay? This is how it is. I know, right? Somebody said this is so on brand with the nodal shift. Yes, it is. Y'all know the South Node is in Libra. So this is actually at really good timing, honestly, doing this live stream right now. South Node in Libra. So South Node represents decrease. It means that all people, all things, we're going to experience the decrease of codependent, relationship-oriented, business partnership type things that involve contractual obligation to another person. It doesn't mean that everybody's breaking up. It doesn't mean that this isn't the time to fall in love. It just means that there's a decrease in that energy because right now we need to experience an increase in Aries related energy, which is the independence, the pioneer, the leader. We need to experience an increase in being able to self-lead, to pioneer, to go into battle alone, the lone soldier. There has to be a balance. The North nodes are always exactly opposite because there's always a balance, right? So where there's a little bit of decrease, there has to be a little bit of increase. That's all it is. So it really is right on time with the Libra South Node. I didn't plan for that, by the way. Okay. So let me drink a little water and then I will tell you guys about the correct relationship I'm having right now. And heads up, I'm going to try to keep it real. I'm going to try to keep it real with y'all. And some of this real shit, it's embarrassing. It's not cute. But I'm going to keep it real for the sake of the teaching experience, you know? I'm a 6th sign in my human design. The 6th sign is the role model. So if I'm not role modeling, then what am I doing? So I'm just going to keep it real, but we'll get there. No, this is not a new boo. I've been in a relationship for 3 years. Some of y'all know that. Those stalkers of you would know that. You would have to be a major stalker to know that. Because I stopped talking about my relationship last year, I think, or the year before. I just went mum because internet people are crazy. And talking too much about your relationship, showing off your boo. Now, maybe if you don't have a following, but I have a following. And before that whole big blow up thing happened in December 2021, November 2021, before that happened, I didn't see myself as who I really was. I didn't see myself as big shit. Like I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm Jade. Yeah, I got followers. Yeah, people know me. Okay, cool. I wasn't really seeing that, no bitch, I'm Jade, the Jade, that bitch Jade. I got something to lose. I'm working on real shit. This is my whole life. It's important. It's going somewhere. I got to move different. I wasn't moving different. I was moving like I was still a regular little girl living in Arkansas. I wasn't moving like a grown woman. So after that whole thing, I was like, oh, I got to move different. So now I move very differently. I'm a lot more private. I'm a lot more serious. Now that I know my design, I'm very serious about the decisions that I make and how I use it. Nuh-uh, please. Someone said, I was shook you posted her yesterday. Oh my God. I was thinking I would just slide that by. I was thinking nobody would really notice. I was thinking people would just be like, oh, okay. Not you was shook. Because I've definitely never posted a picture. I don't even play that. And we just don't do that. Yeah, it's okay. We're past that. So. Okay. So let me tell you how we started. So like I said, remember how I said when you're following your human design, you're going to be able to live a unique life. And when you're living a unique life, when you're making correct decisions with your design, that's going to put you in position for certain things to happen, right? So before following human design, I can only think of very few instances where I was like, okay, not before following human design, before becoming an astrologer. I can only think of very few instances where I was in design, where I was following excitement, where I was making sure that I was satisfied. I can only think of very few instances before astrology where I was really doing that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, of course, 2018, when I officially became an astrologer, that was my first, like when I look back on my life, that's when I can remember being in design. I'm getting to a point, because I left my job I started doing things that made me satisfied in between looking for two jobs, in between looking for a job. The satisfying thing was making astrology tweets. That satisfaction led me to getting my pregnancy thread blown up. The thread blew up. Somebody with 50,000 followers retweeted it. And in response to that, there were so many people who were like, please do readings, please do readings. I didn't even know what the hell a reading was. I was like, people do this shit for a living? This was just my hobby. Oh shit. Like, I was like, oh, I didn't know. And yeah, and then I became an astrologer. So it was all in response. Also, I'm emotional authority. I did give myself time to see how I felt between that thread blowing up and between me doing my first reading. I gave myself time for all those emotions to calm down. So anyway, yes, so I became an astrologer through design, through a correct series of decisions. And so literally, kid you not, 6 months later, maybe 7 months later, somebody posts my tweets on their page. There's this guy, I don't know if y'all know this Instagram account. His name is Brandy Norwood. That's his Instagram name. So whenever me and my girlfriend talk about him, we're always like, yeah, Brandy Norwood. And it's some guy, it's his Instagram account. I think his real name is Avant. But shout out to Avant, okay? Shout out to Avant, because Avant was into astrology at the time, and he posted my one of my tweets about critical degrees. And so my girlfriend saw that, and she's a projector, which I'll get into, and she was like, oh shit. She was like, this girl is talking about some actual deep astrology shit. I need to get on this. I need to, this is deep. I didn't know it got this deep. What do you mean a critical degree? What does that mean? She was like, yo. And so she ended up following me. And so she started following me, and she would interact with my tweets, and she was a really cool, pause. She would interact with my tweets, but she started out as a weird ass bitch. She started out really fucking weird. Like first it was like, okay, I'm noticing this person in my comments. And then she would just say weird shit. And I found out later that she did that on purpose to get my attention because she thought I was cute. But see, I didn't block people back then, because when you block people, like they get kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Also guys, I'm gonna have to like adjust the camera in a second, because when I was doing all my tests the other day, the camera, like, I have to press the record button, and it's only got 26 minutes worth of footage. So I'm going to have to go back, stop recording, delete it, and then just turn it back on. So just so y'all know, I'll probably have to do that in a couple minutes. This is my first time doing this, so do not judge me. Trial and error, okay? Anyway, going back to it, weird ass bitch in my comments, and she was like, she just say some weird shit. And sometimes I would be like, is she an op? What's wrong with her? Like, I really wanted to block her, but I didn't know if she was going to be one of those crazy people that would just come back and harass me from a different account. So I was chill. But then as time went on, she was one of the very few people who would read one of my tweets, because remember, I would talk about very advanced astrology. And she was one of the few people who would go and read my tweet, go to Google, and then actually learn for herself what I was talking about. Then she would come back and be able to contribute to the conversation. So she was one of the very few people who was actually contributing to the conversation and like really giving me something to respond to. The generator giving me something to respond to. I loved that. She was great. Eventually, it took a couple months for her to get there. And so then one day she got a horary from me, and I appreciated that. Like, okay, you know, you're supporting, thank you. And we had a good conversation. I'm like, okay, this follower's cool. And so then a couple months later, right? So a couple months later, I'm at this point, right? I had stopped doing natal chart readings the year before. I started doing horary. I stopped doing horary. My grandmother had just died. That was crazy. I had came down. I probably had COVID. This is the end of 2019, right before the pandemic. I probably had COVID because I was sick as a dog and I didn't know why. And I was just in a weird time. And so I had heard about Patreon before from like YouTubers who used to use it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then somebody on Twitter had tagged me and suggested I start a Patreon. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. I heard about that. I'll go check that out. And so I was checking it out. I'm like, oh, this might be cool. This might be cool. And so I was like, you know what? Why don't I do an election chart? So for those of you who don't know, for whatever reason, an election chart is when you use astrology to decipher the time, date, and place you want for the best energy for your shit, for your event, whatever you're doing, right? It's just like making a birth chart, but for an event. And so I was like, damn, I really want to do this, but I think I need some help. You know, who can help me with this? And I'm like, you know what? This girl, I think she'd be able to help me, that girl. She be knowing what she's talking about. I think I could trust her to help me. Now, mind you, like I said, she's a projector. And the projector is meant to show off their knowledge, to let themselves be seen with what they know, and then be recognized. And that's what happened. Because she had been showing off her knowledge all those months, unknowingly, she didn't know she was a projector. It was just very natural. I recognized her when it came time for me to seek guidance. I recognized her and I sought her out. And I was like, hey, can you help me do an election chart for my Patreon? And we got on FaceTime for the first time. And she helped me, and she helped me figure it out. And we narrowed it down to the rising, and we made sure that the planets in the election chart and the houses in the election chart were going to support my personal natal chart because we wanted to support me. And yeah, and we got off the phone, and after that, we were friends. And boom, the Patreon blew up. It just blew up. Now, sometimes I wonder, sometimes I ask myself, was it really the election chart? Like, really? Did it really work? Like, that shit really worked? Like, it really worked better than I could have expected, or did it just happen? I think it was the election chart though, because the way that human design shit worked out without us even knowing it, the generator seeking guidance, going to a projector, recognizing them, inviting them to guide, she helps me guide, and it just does well. That is the natural order of things. That's what human design teaches, how that's the natural order of things. Now, obviously, every generator is not going to need guidance for everything. So that I'm not just telling you to go find a projector for every single thing. But, you know, when it's natural, it's natural. When it works, okay? Let me take a sip of water. So then after that, we just became friends. We started talking on the phone. We would just text, and we were just friends. Like, I had a nigga at the time. I was living with this guy, you know? And me and him were doing our thing. So this was just my friend. But I think eventually I started to develop a little crush on her. Eventually I did. I didn't really realize it until later. And then some of y'all might know this, but like in my career, Twitter, as we know, is just a hellscape. So sometimes I would just get pulled into hellish dramas and situations, and that would just be a lot, you know. And she started helping me through that. She started guiding me through those rough times. And I would be like, oh my God, you know, I like that shit. So anyway, I end up moving. Some of y'all remember I moved in 2020, and there was this one girl. I will not name any names. I wish I could name names, but actually I could, but that would just be so messy. Anyway, back to the topic. There was this one girl, and she was like, yeah, Jade, like, I would kiss you, and I would do this and that. And this was just my friend. Like, this was my other astrology friend. And she was like, I would do this and that. And I was like, I was like, no. I just wasn't feeling it. But in response to that, remember response, I'm a generator. In response to that, I was like, wait a minute. If I was going to kiss a girl, it would be old girl. It would be my friend, that girl. It would be her. I would want to kiss her. And I was like, damn, I like her. I was like, I like her. Like, oh my God. You know. And so I went upstairs, and I want to say I told her the same night. And oh my God, I'm so childish. I'm so childish. My roommate was in the room because I let my best friend, well, I didn't let him. I asked him to move with me, and he moved with me. So he was in the other room, and I went to my room. I'm so childish. I went in my room, closed the door, went in the closet, turned out the lights, and I was in the corner of the closet on the phone like this. Like, just so childish. Fucking Leah. I was like, and I was like, I like you, you know, and you know, maybe you like me too, blah, blah, blah. You know, generator doing the invitation, giving the projector the invite. And she was like, yeah, I like you too. And like, I didn't even know that she liked me, but she had liked me the whole time. I didn't know it. So I invited her into the relationship. However, before we just officially started dating, we didn't officially start dating until the next month. So my emotional authority, there was time in between making that decision to see how I felt. And by September 2020, we were in a relationship. But here's the catch. Here's what nobody knows. I don't talk about this because why would I? But here it is. Here's the catch. Not teenage love affair tease. The catch is it was a long distance relationship. I mean, obviously, I guess y'all kind of knew that. I did meet her on Twitter. Duh. But it was really long distance because my girlfriend lives in another country. Shock and awe. Nobody knew that. I don't think I've ever said it before, but she lives in another country. And so that was a problem. But at the time, Patreon was going so well. Now, mind you, I was very young. Listen. Every year that you get older, you look back on the last year and the years before that, and you're like, damn, I was so young-minded, right? So she lived in another country, but in my mind, I was like, oh, no, it's fine. I have extra money. Like, I have some extra money I can spend. I can just get a plane ticket. Like, what's the big deal? Like, we can just fly back and forth. Like, I can afford it. Like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, I can afford my own plane. Like, yeah. No. Pandemic. Mind you, my girlfriend had never left her country, right? She never left that bitch before. And so where I come from, here's where we started having a cultural clash. So funny because her Venus is in the 9th house in Scorpio in whole signs. 9th house represents culture. Venus is relationships. So culture was a big element to our relationship, right? And so in the South, when you get a boo, you go be with your boo. When your boo's like, come on, be with me. That doesn't mean you go live with them, but like you go be with them. If they say we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I got the cash. Like I can take care of you. Like, or you can take care of you. You got you and I got me. Like, it's not like we're going to be starving. Like, you go. What are you waiting for? This is the dream. Like in the South, this is the dream. This is the life. Like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go snuggle up for as long as you can until you absolutely have to go back to the real world. That's how it works in the South. Okay, that's how it goes. But where she comes from, that's not her culture. listen, in the South, our families be fucked up. So that's why we be so in a rush to go be with other people and create connection that way. But my girlfriend grew up with a family. She had a mommy and a daddy. They were married. What, girl? What? I got a family. I'm not in a rush to go fill voids like the rest of you. That wasn't her. So that was confusing. But anyway, so that did become a point of contention, but that was 3 years ago. And so my point is, let me just jump forward before I just go into my whole life story and start telling my business. Leos will tell all their business. Let me stop while I'm ahead because I know how I'm going to get. Anyway, let's jump forward. We've been together 3 years. We have had a wonderful relationship. I love my girlfriend. I love her so much. She means everything to me. She means the world to me. Things have been really, really wonderful. Really, like when it comes to us, they've been wonderful. Oh, and before anybody gets confused, yes, we've met in person like several times. I'll stay a month with her in her country. She'll stay a month with me here in the US. So like we've done that like several times just before y'all get confused. Please, I know y'all didn't think I was on this live talking about love and I ain't never met a bitch in person. That would be crazy. Oh my God. That'd be so fucking ridiculous. But no, you know. I've met all her family. She's met all of my family. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And it's been good. You know, we've really made it work. However, now, and before I go deep into it, let me tell you how human design has helped us. Because, of course, I taught her about her human design, being a projector. One thing about it, I'm a generator, and my girlfriend, you know, the generators, we're meant to be asked yes or no questions, not open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are for a projector, manifestor, reflector. We're meant to be asked yes or no questions. And so she has gotten exceptionally skilled at asking me yes or no questions to get to the truth inside of my sacral. And so I really appreciate her for that. Like, that's real shit. That's dedication to helping me live in my design. And I do the same thing with her with open-ended questions. We respect one another's authority. We respect each other's authority, okay? When I say I gotta wait to see how I feel, she's like, okay, cool. She's splenic authority. For those of you that don't know, whenever you have splenic authority goes by the urge, that instinct. It's like a fear-based, survival-based instinct on what to do, where to be, or where to go. And they don't have an explanation for it. It's not like a wait to see how I feel, like, it's not like a sacral where it's coming from a motor, where it's like energy. It's instinct. It's like there's no explanation, but this is the urging, right? So that's her authority, and I trust it. When she says her authority is like, you know, she was like, my spleen, like I got that instinct kick, and it was like, no, I'm like, okay then. And even though sometimes I don't always like her goddamn spleen, I might be a human design girly, but I don't always like what the fuck her spleen got to say. I don't like it. Like, sometimes it'll say something, and I'll be like, I should have never taught you this shit, but it's cool. But it's cool. But, you know, I respect it, though, because I know at the end of the day, what's most correct for her, what's best for her, is going to be what's best for me. And even if there came the day where what's best for her is doing this and doing that, it's going to be what's best for me. Because if everybody's doing what's correct, it's going to be better for everybody involved. That's how it works, okay? And so yeah. And so let me tell you about some of the problems we've had. So I did say earlier in this live, I did say a correct relationship does not mean that the person is perfect or doesn't have their own problems. If you got a motherfucking problem, raise your hand. I've had a motherfucking problem. Y'all know I've done if you were on my Patreon in 2020, then you remember the Moon Pluto videos. And if you were on my Twitter in 2019, I talked about Moon Pluto, the Moon Pluto aspect all year long. And Moon Pluto, y'all know that's them mother wounds, them family wounds, them inner wounds, right? That's that emotional turmoil. It's similar to a Scorpio moon. Some of y'all Scorpio moons, y'all gonna know what I'm talking about. It's like that. And so Moon Pluto we are at our most vulnerable when we get into a relationship, because when you're in a relationship, you're your most vulnerable, you're your most sensitive. That's when you're most trying to control. And so my girlfriend, my relationship with her, I've had other relationships in the past, but the one with her has been the most serious. It's been the most serious. And oh my God, I have fucked up some really great potential relationships in the past because of that Moon Pluto shit. Moon Pluto and Scorpio Moon, sometimes we like to play around. We'll play a little game, but it's really us trying to pull a little power move so we can make the person jealous or keep them in our favor, keep the control, because deep down inside, we are terrified that they might wake up one day and leave us, that they might wake up one day and change their entire mind, change all their feeling about us. We're terrified of that, you know? And so when you're an unevolved Scorpio Moon or Moon Pluto person, you'll play those little games trying to keep the cards in your hand. Whole time, all your cards are blank, boo. You lost. It was never gonna work. And so I fucked up some relationships in the past doing that. People who really liked me, but I got a Libra 12th house and I didn't know they really liked me, so. But anyway, so at the beginning of our relationship, I would do that. I would hang up, make her call me 10 times, and she'd be like, oh my God, call me back, what the fuck? And I'd be like, that's right. That was not good. Or I would oh my God, I would use her as an emotional punching bag. This is just real shit, you know? She would just be, I didn't do it on purpose, but she would become this emotional punching bag. And I would just be like, this and that. Like I would have a problem with my mom or my dad or something in my personal life, you know? And remember, this is 2020. So at this time, my business is doing well and I was hitting an upper limit problem in my personal life. For those of y'all that don't know about the upper limit, an upper limit problem is when things are going well, whether you're having a good day or a good year or a good whatever, and you hit the glass ceiling where all of a sudden you've done a self-sabotaging behavior that stops the joy. Whether it's your fault, someone else's fault, but you allow the joy to be stopped and you don't course correct quickly enough and you hit the glass ceiling, you know? And so, yeah, so 2020 was going really well for me professionally, but then in my personal life, I'm hitting this glass ceiling with my family and I'm taking it out on her and I'm like, well, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I'm just doing too much. It was enough. But she really loved me. She really cared about me. She respected me. And so she stayed by my side. You know, she was staying by my side. But eventually, my girl started to get tired. She started to get really tired of that shit. And she didn't just tell me, you know, I'm fucking tired of you. She was just like, she was like, is this what a relationship is? Because this is crazy. And it wasn't like an everyday thing, you know, but it was too much. And I noticed when she was tired, I was like, oh, like this time I was older. And this time I knew. And this time I knew astrology, right? So I knew astrology at this point. So I knew that what was going on was the Moon Pluto. And because of that, I was able to do a deep dive, do the research again and again, and really get in there to understand what was going on with myself so I could rectify it, so I could evolve. And that's what I did. And I told her, you know, I'm sorry, you know, like, thank you for trying to guide me through this, for understanding my personhood. We're not going to go through this again. This isn't going to happen again. I'm going to handle my own emotions. If I need to take space, I'll tell you, hey, I'm going to call you back later. I won't just hang up. If I need to yell or scream, I'll put you on mute and get all my cussing and screaming out that way, you know? Or, yeah, that's what we did. And that hasn't happened since. I haven't been like that since. I am not like that anymore. I evolved. I had an evolution. I changed. That part of me is dead, right? It's dead and long gone now. So, yeah, so the point in that story is that you can have your correct relationship and you can have a problem. The mind is still there. You still have things to figure out. You're not perfect. You're still having an experience. That's the point I'm trying to make to y'all right now. So yeah, let me go through some comments real quick. Take a quick break of water. And then I'll talk to you about where we are now. And then we'll go over the profile lines and we'll go over the centers and then we'll be done. Yeah, somebody said, oh, it's my girl, Key Rose. Key Rose said, you still got to do the inner work even when you're following your design. That part. Yes, this will be saved. Somebody said, what does she mean by Moon and Pluto? me assuming everyone in here knows astrology. That's an astrological aspect. It's when two planets make a connection. They have a direct connection. So instead of saying the connection, you just say the names of the two planets, Moon, Pluto, Sun, Jupiter. And somebody can just assume you mean a direct connection, what we call an aspect between two planets. Those planets interact, and each planet will have a very particular interaction with one another. Okay, so where are we now? So generators, MGs, listen up. I am currently dissatisfied in my relationship. I'm dissatisfied. My girlfriend knows this, right? And honestly, I'm gonna be, my birthday is coming up in a week. I'm gonna be 26 years old. A long distance relationship at 26 years old, unless you just really love your man's or your woman's and she's in or he's in or whatever, they're in the military, maybe you want to go through that. Maybe, I don't know, but it's a lot. It's a lot. I've had my experience. I had been in a couple of long distance relationships before her, and I love my girlfriend. I love what we have, especially when we're in person. Like I said, whenever we're in person, we spend very long amounts of time together. And during those times, it is straight bliss. Do you hear me, honey? It's bliss. In person, it's bliss. I mean, it's bliss when we're apart, but in person, so different. We cohabitate so well, so beautifully. We have an amazing time. Memories and experiences that I could brag about forever, that I have no problem with. But the distance has grown to be a lot, and I've become dissatisfied. And that's not good for the generator, for the manifesting generator. That's something we have to acknowledge. And then we have to start thinking about that because, we can't stay dissatisfied. It's not a place we're meant to stay in. So that might mean the end of our relationship possibly, right? And so the distance isn't the only thing. So on my end, it's the distance. On my end, it's the distance. On her end, there's something else. So remember I said I'm a 6 sign. I know that means being the role model. And so I'm going to try to keep to that, right? And so I cheated on my girlfriend in 2021. Not good at all. Very terrible. Would not recommend. And what happened was she was scheduled to come and see me. Well, she was supposed to come and see me for the first time. But then she was scared. There was COVID. She didn't want to get stuck in the USA. And like I said earlier, I'm from the South. So getting stuck with your boo somewhere, especially in another country, it's like, that's the best thing you could have asked for. That's like a gift from God. So I was not understanding all these fears and stuff. I was like, bro, what's the problem? We're gonna have fun. What are you talking about? And I just got very, very in my mind. This was not of my body. This was not an exciting decision I made. This was not some decision I made using my authority. This was totally out of body, totally against authority. And I was emotional, so emotional. Y'all know that when you're emotional authority, you can't make decisions from your emotions. Even if you think you're not emotional, you don't have to be crying and screaming or doing whatever to be considered emotional. Even being just, yay, like that's emotions. You wait until you're in a neutral state. So I was so emotional about it. And at the time, also my ego was super big. My ego had gotten big. I had just got my hair. I was starting to wear wigs, right? And I was just feeling myself. I was like, I'm like, where's I'm supposed to be with somebody. Like, you're not here. And it was just emotional cheating. I thought that somehow I could make it work. Listen, I don't know what, I was thinking some crazy shit. It was just emotions. There was no logic, straight emotion, just trying to rush to fill the void, to fill the space. I was lonely. I was like, and it was mental. It was mental because, kid you not, I said this the other day. I made a tweet the other day and I said that there's a science to giving up. I said people always give up at the most hopeless moment right before things get better. Kid you not. Right after I did that, boom, that's when she was like, okay, the tickets are set. Everything is in motion. I'll be there in 2 weeks. Or no. I'll be there in like a week and a half. Kid you not. Terrible. 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 That is not a decision I'm happy with. That's a decision I regret so deeply. Very huge regret. And I'm getting to a point with this. Okay? Very, very regret. And I tried to keep that shit in for as long as I could. I tried to keep it in. The secret eventually came out. Whew, just a lot. And so that's where we are now, where she loves me. She wants to be with me. But like I said, she's a projector. So when I ask her an open-ended question, and remember, the projector's signature theme is success. When I say, how successful do you feel in our relationship? The answer is like, damn girl, I love you, but it's not that successful if I got cheated on. And that's my fault. And then on my end, it's like, damn girl, I love you, but this distance is crazy. And some people might say, well, why don't y'all just move in together? I've already lived with people before. I've lived with little boos and little romances before. And that's not really something I want to do again. And we would have to move countries. And I did make a tweet a couple of years ago talking about the mass exodus that's coming for the United States, where people will start moving in mass to different countries. And I also plan to do that one day. However, I haven't gotten the prompt. Nothing has prompted my body into action through response to make that move or to really do that, So nothing is really, that's not an option right now. Or I'll say it's not presenting itself as an option, And yeah, so that's where we are now. So the point, like I said, you can enter a correct relationship. The person can be everything. My girlfriend has been everything to me. She has, and I don't just mean like, oh, she's just such a good partner. No, I mean very specific things. She has guided me. She has really handled situations that I don't think I would have been able to handle by myself. Very specific things. She loves marketing and business. As you can see, she's the one who helped me with my Patreon. She's been helping me with that. I've been helping her. We have both grown as people. We have both grown into truly wonderful, intelligent people. We've been there for each other in the roughest times. But I cheated and I fucked that up. Now, maybe we could have worked out the distance. Maybe we still can. Maybe this and this and that. But on her end, I did that. And listen, the way shit is going, we'll probably have to break up, because the way in human design, they teach this. They teach this about bonds made and bonds broken, right? If you're a 3 line, you're going to really know about this. Now, even if you're not a 3, pay attention. This is still relevant in general, right? Just in general for everyone. Bonds made and bonds broken. All 3s know about that. And when you're a 6 line, 3-6 Mafia, I'm from Memphis. But anyway, when you're a 6 line, you're going to go through the bonds made and bonds broken stage during your first 30 years. And I'm not yet 30. So I'm going through that. So if our relationship, if there's a possibility that we're meant to be married and have children and live happily ever after, we really would have to break up and then come back together at a later point with a new bond. But right now we're still in this current bond, because it's only been very recently that she found out. I did try to hide it. I did not have the strength. I was weak. I did not have the strength to tell her, because she would have definitely broke up with me. And she told me, she was like, girl, I would have broke up with you. But right now we're still in this stage where we're like, damn, even though I did that, even though there's distance, we really love each other. We really get along. We're really good friends. And that's another thing. We were friends before anything. Before there was any romance, we were friends. So a friendship aspect is so strong. It's like, damn, I don't want to leave you. But, we're young and we're learning how to possibly make the hard decision. Maybe we won't have to make it. Maybe we will. But what I'm telling you guys is that even though we've been very correct for each other, even though this relationship has been the best experience, it has came with its ups and downs. It's not going to be perfect. Everybody's not going to go through what I went through. Everything's not going to be as extreme as my shit is, but it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be correct. And I wouldn't be here where I am. Y'all have been in the comments like, oh, princess, glitz and glam. Well, thank you. Thank you for her contribution to my business the last several years that helped me to get to this place where I can feel this good and be able to be here and talk to you and have the camera set up and all that type of stuff. That was her contribution, Some correct ass shit, really correct. So I'm grateful to her forever. She'll always be my friend. I'll always be there for her. So yeah, we'll see. I probably, if actually I do plan on doing a love seminar part 2, but I plan on doing it next month, and I probably won't have the answers to our relationship by then, but maybe I'll update you guys one day. So thank you for listening to that. That was a lot, and I really didn't want to say that, but I knew that I couldn't have a love seminar without talking about my own relationship. And I didn't think, not that I owe anyone anything, and I know y'all know that, but I figure, like I said, 6 line, role model. I want people to really understand this information because it's important to me. The subject, design, this is important to me. So I really did want to give it to you as authentically as possible. And yeah. Okay, so now we can get into the profiles. Profiles. I'm gonna let y'all take a little water break. I know some of y'all, we've been going on a minute. Let me check the camera before I get up here because I'll be so mad if something else happens again. The camera did not go out like I anticipated, but it did do that other thing I was talking about. But anyway, who cares? You know what? I really do love this lip gloss, but it's so moisturizing. It'll dry down so fast because it's very water-based. So it dries down super quickly. How we looking? Let me check the camera. Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. So, profiles. Let's start with the 1. Number 1. Profile 1. So if you have a 1 in your profile, if you do not know your human design profile, go to the link in my Instagram bio or my Twitter bio and click on where it says Custom Human Design Resource Guide. Just click right there. I have already got a whole how-to, how to find your design, everything, and you will see that. It'll tell you your profile. It'll look like this. It'll be like 2 numbers, 2 4, 4 1, 5 2. It'll be like that, 2 numbers with a dash. Okay. Needs a little lip liner. Black girls gotta have their lip liner. I'm actually doing this without a mirror because the camera on my phone is like 3 seconds behind. What Libra do you, who but me would stop a string to apply lip gloss and shit? But I mean, come on. But anyway. So the 1, investigative love. You need to find out if you have a 1 line in your profile. Investigative love, okay? Investigative love. You don't just enter a relationship without knowing everything you need to know to take the first step. Listen closely. Everything you need to know to take the first step. First step. You can't know everything. You can't find out everything. And obviously you can't wait forever to get into a relationship because you don't know what this person's mom's middle name is. You know what I'm saying? The 1 line does an investigation to take the first step. You get enough information to make a first step. If the first step is going into the relationship, going out to dinner, whatever, each first step, your first date, your first time getting into the relationship, first time buying a house together, you get enough information to take the first step. This information should make you feel secure. Now, you might not be 100% sure. You might not be like, oh yeah, I'm totally sure that this is enough information. You might not be like that. That's okay. Everybody can't be certain. Some of y'all have open head centers. Some of y'all have the sense of uncertainty like I do in your design, and you can't be sure about everything. That's okay. None of us are really meant to be sure. It's just about feeling generally secure with the knowledge that you've acquired to take the first step. Not to figure out the whole thing, but just the first step. 2, if you are a 2 line, if you have a 2 line in your profile, easy love, easy love. You need to reconsider when love becomes less easy. So I'm a 2 line, right? And the relationship with my girlfriend has never been anything short of easy. Sure, there's the distance, but us as 2 people who are connecting, everything else excluded, so fucking easy. I could lose my mind. So fucking easy. I can think back on times where I was in a relationship where there was difficulty. Like, why is this hard? Why are you making this hard? You ever ask yourself that? Why are you making this hard? 2 lines probably think that to themselves. Why is this person making it hard? Or why am I making it hard? That's when you need to reevaluate. It's supposed to be easy, natural, and easy. Okay? 2 lines. Easy love. Easy love. 3, we talked about this. 3 lines. Bonds made and bonds broken. Trial and error. 3 lines. It's going to be very normal for you to sometimes go through more relationships than the rest of us. You guys benefit from really leaning into dating, like actual dating, you know? Now, in the South, if you're from where I'm from, dating, we don't really date. If you get a boo, you need to try to keep your boo until y'all get married or have a baby or something. That's just how it is in the South. I'm not saying I agree with it. That's just how it is. Like, we don't play that. Like, we don't play that, oh, yeah, I went on a date with this guy, and then I'm going on a date with this guy, and, oh, there's this one guy who kind of likes me. I think he's got... Girl, well, you better pick one. Like, that's how we are in the South. But the 3 line, you're going to benefit from that. I actually have a good friend who's a 3 line, and she lives in New York City, and oh, my God, she dates. Right now, she's dating a Google engineer. She's dating a real estate broker. He sells $1 million homes. She was dating this other guy who's like an art dealer. He just bought a house in the city. Who else has she dated before? Oh, she was just dating a lawyer. Like, she's dating them, having fun. You know, shit, she's doing her thing. And they're all black, and she's black. So it's like, oh, girl. Because, like, in the South, you're not going to find that all in the South. Like, you can find it, but you won't find it all in the same area to date them all. It just doesn't happen in the South. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Maybe Atlanta. It doesn't happen. Okay. But yeah, somebody said, why do 3 lines need to lean into dating so many people? It's not that you're leaning into dating so many, but lean into dating because the 3 line is bonds made and bonds broken. It's about making bonds and breaking them. I'm not telling you to wake up and be like, okay, Jade said I have to break the bond. I have to break the bond. No. It happens naturally. You make a bond with someone, it happens naturally, and then it gets broken naturally. It just kind of happens in and out. Trial and error. For the 3 line, it's all about trial and error. See? Somebody said it doesn't happen in Canada. Yeah, I don't think that does happen in Canada either. It's not a lot of places where you can just find a collection of people like that and just like... Also, that's also New York culture. I've come to learn from her that New York culture is you date people. If you like somebody and you're with them one week and you're with somebody else the next week, only a crazy person would get mad at that. I've come to learn that's New York culture. So, number 4, connected love. Remember, 4 is about the network. Connected love. Being friends first. Establishing a network with the person. Listen to me closely. Being friends first. It's very, very important. Being friends first. 4 lines miss this all the time, especially if you're a 4-1. You miss the investigation. You don't really get enough information to make the first step. Each first step, remember, there are different first steps, not just one giant first steps. Each first step, y'all don't get enough information. And then the 4 line will not be friends first. They'll be fucking emotional authority and be like, oh my God, I'm just so, like that's how 4 lines are. Friends first. Can this person fit into your network? Yes or no? All the 4 lines right now. If you're a G or an MG, let me ask you this yes or no question. Can this person fit into your network? I'm reading the comments. Yes, no? No, yes? Somebody said no. Exactly. Y'all dating people who don't even fit in the network, where the established connection just really isn't there. You guys aren't really establishing the connection before you decide, I want to be with this person. I want to fuck their brains out. Whoa, relax. And then number 5, Projected love. Remember, fives get projected upon. Not talking about projectors. The 5 line, people put their projections on you guys. They want you to have a solution, right? It is normal and correct for the 5 to come with it, to come with practical solutions. However, as a 5, I'm going to ask you a yes or no question. Can you provide the solution as their lover? Do you have the solution as their lover? Is being their lover a part of the practical solution? Did they ask you for it? Sometimes it's not always direct. Sometimes it's not always, hey, can you come fix up my wall? I don't know what to do. You know, where does this person have a problem? Are they looking at you to provide the answer, right? You will know as a 5, using your strategy and authority, you will know whether you can accurately provide that or not. And if you can't, 5s go through it the worst, because if the 5 accidentally, unintentionally steps into something and they could not provide the solution and they knew they couldn't, because 9 times out of 10 you knew you couldn't, the backlash is strong. People do not like that. Y'all don't want to go there. Don't want to go there, 5s, right? And so remember, there's 5-1, 5-2, and I believe we have 5-3. Do we have 5-3s? Do we have 5-1, 5-2, and 5-3? I'm pretty sure I looked this up to be sure before I wrote this down, if I'm not mistaken. But if you're a 5-1, did you investigate the solution? You know, is the solution in line with your investigation? If you're 5-2, or if you're 2-5, as long as you've got these numbers in there, right? Is the solution coming to you naturally? Is it coming up naturally? Was it easy? Or was it difficult? If you got 5 and 3, yeah, we do have 3-5. Yeah, 3-5. That's what it was. Because I was like, there's no 5-3. Yeah, it's 3-5. Trial and error. Trial and error. Do you already know what doesn't work as far as this solution? Do you already know what doesn't work? There we go. There we go. And then number 6, that's also me, little me, back from Petty. 6, perfected love. Perfected love. Wisdom and time bring better relationships. Wisdom and time bring better relationships for my 6s, okay? Wisdom and time. And for those first 30 years, you're going to go through the trial and error. You're going to go through the bonds made and bonds broken. So I also implore the 6s to get their experience. Don't be afraid to date. Like I said, I'm from the South, so that wasn't in my culture really to date, you know, like real dating, like you see on TV and stuff, or like my friend. That's something I've kind of had to learn as I get older, like, oh, people like date for real, like that's like real, like, you know. 6 lines are always looking for perfection in love. 6 lines are always looking for the perfect lover. And even sometimes, I can be real with y'all, even in my best moments with my girlfriend, sometimes I was still like, but maybe it'd be more perfect if this, or when I watch this anime, this couple is so perfect. Duh, it's an anime. 6 lines are always looking for perfection. Like I said, perfection doesn't truly exist. You can get really, really close, but it doesn't truly exist. And we can get close. We can, okay? We can. So 6 lines, wisdom and time. If you're a 6 line and you're going into a new relationship and you're somehow forgetting the wisdom you gained from the last one, you're going to be fucked up. That's going to hurt you. You have to bring the wisdom from each experience into the next one. You have to bring it there. So like me, I know what it's like to cheat on someone. It's terrible. It's totally mental. Nothing about it is of the body, is happy, is joyful. Nothing about it is, oh, I couldn't help myself, or oh, deep down inside, I just really loved so-and-so, this other. No. That's my experience. And the way I see it, it is a totally deplorable act, and it can be avoided. It can be avoided. And it's not something that has to happen at all. That's just my opinion. Okay, and then let's move on to the centers. So we're going over to sacral love. All my sacral authorities. Come on, y'all. Are you getting more excited? Are you getting more and more excited in the relationship, right? Are you getting more excited? Where is your excitement? How much has your excitement built from the beginning to where it is now? Now, remember, I don't know if some of y'all saw this, but I did a crash course a little while back, and I was like, don't confuse excitement for chaos, or chaos for excitement, rather. Don't confuse chaos for excitement, because it's not that. It's not that. Okay, so don't think, oh, I was so excited at first, and then it was all toxic in the middle, but I'm still excited though. You're confused. You're probably on an emotional high. Even if you're not emotional authority, you're running on emotions still though. You're like, right, okay? Is it exciting or is it just chaos? Chaos can be mistaken for excitement. And then for my emotional peoples, listen, you gotta ride that wave. Gotta ride that wave. That's all I'm gonna say on that for right now, because I did put that in the Build Your Romance training, which I'm gonna talk about now, actually. So for those of y'all that remember, I made a training last year called Generator and Manifesting Generator Build Your Romance, where I included a 1-hour live stream plus extra added content for a total of 1.7 hours for the Build Your Romance for manifesting generators and generators, right? And it's super detailed, super great. I fucking love that live stream. I was hitting the nail on the head, and I go in depth into emotional authority, right? Because emotional authority, I think I had to add an extra 20-minute audio for emotional authority in dating, because there's a lot of nuance there with that authority. It's the only one that has that much nuance, right? But here's the thing. When I first released it, it was $200, and that was great. It did well. However, going forward, I'm doing something new where I'm focusing on what that was. I call that an affordable self-help training. Self-help trainings, where you're not spending 30 hours trying to understand the information. You're not like, Jade, I'm trying to catch up. Wait a minute, I gotta go Google. No, I've made it so that way you can consume the content right here, right now, less than an hour, and go out there and apply it. Go out there and get your just dues. You don't have to, it's not all of this extra, right? And so what I did was I put it on Patreon. So instead of it being $200, it's now $28. And when you're on the Patreon, what I plan on doing is, instead of doing my Patreon posts where I used to just make posts, I just be like, okay, this is what I want to talk about today. I'm focusing on making self-help trainings, making actual packages month to month. You get the package each month. There's a new package for you to consume, not just a little post on your phone and you're scrolling, and not just a super intensive course and you got to pay a lot of money for it. I don't know if some of y'all know, but in the human design world, most programs and things cost like $2,000 or $3,000. They cost a lot. Like, it's a big thing. But I'm trying to do something different where I can make them bite-sized, and they're just a part of the Patreon, right? And so this is for the Generator Season Patreon, and then it's just $28, and that's different than the $200 or the $3,000. So, emotional authority, I have made that available for you. I have made that more cost-effective for you. It is now $28 instead of the $200. So those of you that's emotional authority who's been waiting and riding that wave, this is your chance. You rode your wave. Congratulations. Congratulations. Because I know some of y'all have been fucking waiting, and you're like, oh shit, and now you see, because I didn't even know I was going to do this until last month, when like the idea came to me in response, right? And y'all didn't know I was going to do this. So this is what I mean when you have to wait out that wave. Because I know there's a lot of y'all who's emotional authority, and maybe you were like, I want it, but I don't know. Let me come back, see how I feel. Boom. There it is. There it is. This is the best option, right? I love it. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it because I wrote this down. So while Pluto is in the last degrees of, I almost said Aquarius. We are not 20 years into the future. While Pluto is in the last degrees of Capricorn, knowledge is of the utmost importance. Why? Paying for knowledge, buying knowledge. It doesn't just have to be my knowledge, but investing in knowledge, right, is of the utmost importance. Why? Because when Pluto goes into Aquarius, that knowledge is going to be applied. Then you will see that knowledge applied. You will see the effects in the real world, right? Not saying it doesn't happen now, but once we enter that 20-year transit, shit's gonna hit differently, okay? So why? In astrology, derivative astrology, Capricorn is the third placement, the third sign from Scorpio. Scorpio, Sagittarius, Cap. That's 3. In astrology, third house represents information, right? Pluto, ruler of Scorpio, 1, 2, 3, Capricorn, represents investment. The resources that are put into gaining something, right? So this is our last time for the investment of knowledge before Pluto goes into Aquarius. Doesn't mean that you can't do it later. Doesn't mean that this is impossible. Doesn't mean you can't buy a book while Pluto was in Aquarius. I'm not saying that. But this is your last chance to do it before things start speeding up, picking up. The world is going to be moving. We're moving. And remember, in 2027, human design teaches us how things are changing, how we're going to be entering into a new global cycle. And in that global cycle, we are going to be dictated by manifesting generator energy, right? It's going to be the background energy of the world is going to be that of an MG. It's going to be reminiscent of an MG. And what do MGs do? They move fast. Things are going to be picking up. The world is going to be going. The technology is going to be crazy. Does anybody remember 1998, 1999, early 2000? Remember Uranus? Oh, there's the camera. Oh, no, the battery! Okay, can y'all hear me? If y'all can hear me, we're just going to finish up. The battery's dying, we're just going to finish up. As long as y'all can hear me. The technology is going to be moving, okay? So does anybody remember that time period, 1998, and 1997, because I have Uranus and Aquarius. 1997 through about 2000, Uranus and Neptune were in Aquarius, right? And does anybody remember, most of us are probably kids, but still, I've done research on that time period. The technology jumped. All of a sudden. That was when the internet took hold of the mainstream. It was a huge jump in technological advancement. It was like something never before seen. Yes, the tech boom, the dot-com bubble, all of that. So we have not had a generational planet like Neptune and Uranus be in Aquarius since that time. Saturn doesn't count. It's not generational. Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, those are the generational planets, right? And we haven't had a generational planet hit Aquarius since then. And when Neptune and Uranus were there, they were only there for a couple of years. It was only a couple of years, like less than 6 or 7 altogether, I think. Maybe less than 8 or 9. It was a very, very short time span. But now we're about to hit Pluto in Aquarius. And not only is Pluto going to be there for 20 goddamn years, but Pluto is the planet of change, revolutionary change, the transformation, child. So what I'm telling you is Pluto in Capricorn, it's going to be there until the springtime. This is your last chance to find that knowledge. And y'all, we're G's and MGs, so if you just stay cool, it'll find you. To let that knowledge find you that makes you excited to invest in. And it's going to carry you forward in Pluto and Aquarius. It's going to assist you while things are moving so incredibly fast. So let me ask you some yes or no questions. Do you love human design? Did you love this live stream? Did you enjoy yourself? Do you want to get the Build Your Romance Manifesting Generator and Generators? Do you want to build your own romance? Do you want to use human design to do it? Do you want to know more? Do you want to invest? Answer these questions honestly with your sacral. Answer these honestly. If it's a yes, 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 let it be a yes. Let it be a yes. Let it be a yes. And like I said, so before we wrap up, like I said, guys, I'm really interested in breaking the status quo in the human design world. Programs and things, I would know because I've bought some of them, I've used the payment plans and I bought some of them. And they were good programs, but they were long, intensive, required a lot of time and energy, and they cost over $1,000. But I figure, no. We can change this. We can make this smaller, less intensive, but still just as impactful for a fraction of the cost. That's what I figure. So, does that sound interesting to you? Because if it does, That's what's going to be going on my Patreon each month. New training, new program, giving it to y'all, same price each month. So instead of having to, also a lot of these human design programs, what they do is, and I'm not bashing them, I'm just telling you what it is because I know most of y'all don't know, but what they do is it's a time limit. So once they open up the cart, you only get like a week to sign up. You get a week to get like $1,500 together and join. It's a fucking lot. I'm not doing that. With Patreon, there's no, we're not doing a time limit. We're not rushing. And then once they close the cart, you don't get to buy it again until they're ready. And they're not going to be ready until they do a huge, big marketing campaign for it. And the marketing campaigns be really nice. Like, they're super fun and cool. But it takes a lot of energy from them, which is why they charge so much, because they have to pay the marketers and all this and all that. They usually have whole teams. So it might be like another 6 months if you miss out. We're not doing that, right? This way you'll be able to pick and choose. Each time I upload something new, each month, boom, there it is, waiting for you, same price. You didn't have to rush, and it's not going to take up your time. It's not going to take up your time. The Build Your Romance is 1.7 hours. And I put it on Patreon earlier today. I meant to do it yesterday, but I put it on there earlier today. So some of my patrons, they've already watched it. They've already loved it. They've already consumed it. Thank you to those of you who got it before this time. Much appreciated. And going forward, all trainings will be available on Patreon for the generators and the manifesting generators. For that $28, child. And y'all know 28, that's the number of wealth. If you got a business, if you get to pick a number for something, pick the 28. I talked about this years ago. I learned this from a numerologist friend I had. Pick that number. It's a great number. I feel like it works very well. So I thank you. I'm so sorry you can't see me. I'm on my phone, but my phone, I'm kind of viewing it as a viewer and not the moderator or whatever. So thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really happy you guys were here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and thank you to everybody who was on my TikTok. Thank you to y'all who watched the TikTok. Yes. Listen, I was just trying it out. I was like, let me try TikTok. Like, let me see what it's about. Because actually my friend, Jackie Ina, that's my dear friend. She's super cool. I'm really glad I got to meet her. She sent me a human design TikTok and she was like, I just knew you would like this. And I was like, oh, should I do like this? And like, I knew the girls were talking about TikTok. I mean, I knew they were talking about human design on TikTok, but I hadn't seen, like, I don't know, like that one just caught me. That one elicited a response from my body. It prompted me into action. It just came up and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I think I want to try out TikTok now, So it was really in response, which I loved. I've picked out the name, seminar, that was in response. So many things in response. So many things. Yes, my TikTok is the same, iJaadee. So thank you guys. The Patreon, it's patreon.com/iJaadee, 1 I, 1 J, 2 A's, and 2 E's. Do not forget it. I would greatly appreciate it. We in that bitch. And you know what? I'll tell y'all one more thing too. One thing I've learned as a business owner is that you have to go with the times. You have to go with the economy. You have to consider your customers. If you're really about your shit, if you're really passionate, you'll be mindful of that. Last year with Projector Week, I was like, okay, I want to try out one of these high dollar programs. And I did try it out and it went well, but still there were so many people in the audience who were unable to join Projector Week because they just couldn't afford it. The economy had just taken that downturn after the pandemic. And once I understood that, like, oh, I need to go with the economy, I have to roll with where my customers are at. Then I was like, okay, and that's how I came up with the pricing for generator season. That's a part of why I got back on Patreon, because I was like, you know what? I think this is a much more affordable model than doing the high ticketed offers like what a lot of my peers are doing. And I like it. I'm a 2-line. I feel like it's coming easy. And I'm enjoying creating programs. I enjoyed this live stream. I enjoyed putting together the notes. This has been very fun. Did y'all have fun? Let me know if y'all had fun, because I had fun. Not just did you have fun on the live stream, but did you have fun this whole way through? Like the last couple of days when I've been talking about the love seminar and I made a couple of videos. Did you enjoy those? Because I had fun. That's what it's all about. We're having fun. Knowledge is fun. Learning is fun. This is all an experience. And because we're learning our designs, we are going to get the best out of it. So thank you guys. I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much. And let me go get on my computer so I can properly edit this. Talk to you later. Oh, and don't forget the Build Your Romance training. It's on patreon.com/iJaadee. Also at all the links, Instagram, Twitter, link bio. Yeah, y'all know how to find it. But yeah, period.